My name is JD Keith, and I would like to state a term. The word is jock. Now, what goes through your mind? The definition of the term is a student athlete, but unfortunately, many people view this term as a negative. This term infers that student athletes are not as smart as other students. It states that they don't try as hard as other students. More importantly, that they don't care as much as other students. And the sad truth about this is, this carries over to the classroom, as many teachers view their student athletes as not as good as their other peers who don't play sports. So, being a student athlete myself, this kind of offends me, because if I had not played sports in high school, that would have actually hurt my academic career. So, I would like to argue that being a student athlete is beneficial for a student's academic career. Now, I could go into arguments on how boosters bring in money to the schools and how ticket sales bring in money and revenue. All that comes from sports, but that's not my argument. My argument is the fact that being a student athlete helps you in the classroom. To illustrate this point, or illustrate this truth, I have 4 points. My first point is that sports boosts self-confidence and self-esteem. When a coach pushes a player to achieve something that they don't believe is possible and they are able to achieve it, the amount of confidence they feel is overwhelming. According to Theodore Hesburgh, who authored The Importance of School, Sports, and Education, he states that it is imperative for school-aged children to have access to games and to sports. The reason why is because it empowers youth to do well and promote self-esteem. Now, if you are confident in your abilities outside the classroom and you go into the classroom, you have a higher chance of learning a difficult subject because you believe that you are smart enough. You believe that you are able to achieve this. So that's my first point. My second point is that most coaches are teachers. My head football coach, Coach Derek, he was my history teacher. Coach Cannon, the offensive coordinator of my team, he was the AP statistics coach. Coach Burkett, our weight and strength and conditioning coach, he coached health, taught health. So all of these coaches I had in my life, they were academically based. They encouraged us to achieve in the classroom because they understood how important it was. Many schools have the policy to where if a student doesn't make a certain grade or GPA, they can't be on the squad. So coaches have an incentive for students to do well in the classroom. So coaches are a huge part in this educational process. My third point is athletics set a precedent for healthy living. Why is this important to education? Well, the whole point of education is to prepare students for life outside of high school and college. So if you have a precedent for healthy living, you're going to live a much longer and a much better life than you would if you didn't have a precedent for healthy living. Playing football in high school, we would have workouts at 7 o'clock in the morning that would last for 2.5 to 3 hours. We would work out hard, and our coaches would have healthy snacks and drinks for us when we were done. Now, this is important to me because now that I've graduated high school and I'm in college, I'm no longer an athlete. However, I exercise 5 to 6 times a week. I eat healthy because I understand that this precedent has been set before me. And finally, my last point is that students interact with each other more on the field than they do in the classroom. In the classroom, you're quiet, you listen to the teacher, and you ask questions. However, there's not much social interaction. When you're at practice and in games, communication is vital because you need to have communication in order to succeed on the field. You build relationships with the people you're with. 2 of my best friends, who I play football with, we're at the same college together. We're taking similar classes, and we're all learning through this educational process, but that all started on the football field. The reason why developing these social skills is important is because after college, after high school, when you start your careers, it's important to be able to interact with your bosses and your coworkers. But even outside of your careers, it's important to develop relationships with friends, with your potential spouses, and with your children if you're lucky enough to have some. And so, in conclusion, I understand that not every student plays a sport. In fact, not every student wants to play sports, and that's okay. My argument is not that if you don't play sports, you will not be successful. My argument is simply that in my personal experience and the experience of many of my friends, we have great academic success because of the discipline that we learned on the field. Thank you for your time.